Hi guys and welcome back. Bitcoin finally broke above $45,000 and now everybody's asking, of course, what is the next target? But what I want to tell you first, guys, this is an amazing start here into the new year, and I'm gonna show you what I believe is going to happen next year. If you think that is interesting, stick around here. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel, you like this video, and also activate the bell to never miss out on these really important updates, especially when we have the market moving as crazy as today. So now let me directly start here with some trades that I have placed over the last couple of days. So here you can see I have an Ethereum trade exploding right now, $14,000 in profit already. I just opened a Bitcoin long position here, 100x, also already 33% in a profit. It is a small position, just $1,000, but it is almost a $100,000 position here. Now, when I look at spot orders for a Binance, because that is now really interesting to see where we get potential sell pressure, we see that here on this order heat map, that on Binance, a lot of sell orders are stacked at $46,000, $47,000, and $48,000, basically every time on a round number. And also remember when I told you here at 45,000, there were also spot orders for selling a Bitcoin, which we obviously smashed through, that if we smash through that, we will get close to 46 or even touch $46,000. And that is also what happened here earlier. So we went to $45,900 so far. That's for this year the highest price for Bitcoin, but I still believe that we this year definitely go way higher than that, potentially even today go higher than that. And I'm gonna show you in a moment why I believe that might be potentially here the case. So first of all, here on the Bitcoin CME chart, the Bitcoin price is still way higher than on the spot market, which tells me that the Bitcoin price on spot is not done pumping. So we have here almost a $1,000 discrepancy between futures and spot, and usually spot at some point catches up to that price, and then the spread is like $200-300. So to have a $1,000 spread here is quite crazy, and that happened actually today first before the spot caught up to that bid, and that tells me that potentially institutions knew something here that the retail market didn't, and that's why we saw that crazy pump here and closed basically every CME gap, besides now having a small one all the way down here. And that is one that we have to pay attention to. So I'm gonna remove, no, actually I'm gonna make here another line. But I want to mark this out in red because that is the open one. So if we would get now a correction back to the downside, even before hitting 48 or 50,000, the most likely target would be around 43,000 and maybe $400 on spot. And here on the futures market, $43,700, $44,000 ish. Now, when I look here on the 5 minutes chart, on spot, we saw Bitcoin shaping here a symmetrical, an ascending triangle that we broke out of to the upside. I think we did not hit the technical target of that. Technical target would have been around $46,262. So here is now something really important, guys. If you want to get into that trade, because that's basically the same trade that I took, you are not too late, because we're just still around that kind of price level. So this is a potential good entry if you want to take the same trade that I just took here on BYBIT, to trade this to the technical target of $46,252, because we corrected here all the way back down to my entry level for the time being. If we're looking here at the risk to reward ratio, if you want this specific trade, I'm gonna trade this actually a little bit higher, and we take it here to a prior low. It's a 1 to almost 5 risk to reward ratio, almost 2% to the upside, and 0.4% downside risk of getting stopped out. 20x leverage is like an 8% risk of a loss against a 40% profit that we can make here on that specific trade. And you see Bitcoin is coming back to continue to pump here to the upside for the time being. And guys, don't forget, if you want to make these trades, do it on BYBIT. You still get $30,000 absolutely for free, and a card, a debit card, if you're eligible in your country for it. If you cannot use BYBIT, you can use CoinW. They have no KYC, and you can use them without a VPN from anywhere in the world. And you also get a free $5 bonus just for signing up on that platform. And otherwise, I can recommend you BITGET and Phemex. Also, amazing exchanges. You can use them with a VPN if you're in the US. Otherwise, also no KYC on these exchanges for the time being if you want to use them. Or on FAIRDESK, $120,000, the highest bonus in the industry right now, plus that you can copy trade every single trade that I'm making personally right now on FAIRDESK. And I'm going to show to you here my copy trades for the time being. I have a 100% win rate out of all the trades that I've done so far. Personally, I have made here $1,650. So I'm trading here now for roughly a week, and you see I have not lost one single trade on that platform, which is amazing. So now, when we move on, you see we have reclaimed the 1.65, 1.618 extension on the Fibonacci levels here around $45,170, $45,200, and this is also holding support for the time being. I'm just gonna mark this out here. See, we got close to it with the price, really close, and immediately bounced back up from that level. So that is right now for me a really good sign that we got immediately bought back up for potential continuation to the upside. The target that I have here remains still around $47,000, $48,000 over the next couple hours, potentially next couple days here. When we're looking at the 4-hourly chart, we have seen a beautiful reclaim of the EMA ribbon. It flipped back to the upside. Here, I just want to give you a word of caution. Remember, I tell you guys that all the time when we break above the EMA ribbon and the price moves insanely away from it, like now, we are $2,000 almost away from the EMA ribbon, the price always comes back to retest the EMA ribbon, which is right now also here on the VPVR, the point of control and the longest traded bars on the VPVR, around where the CME gap is on the futures, around $43,700. So keep that in mind. Even if we pump here a little bit higher, you see we only have to break above $46,000, and then it's more or less blue skies. So I actually, here on the 4-hourly chart, I cannot go far enough back to show you this. So if this 4-hourly candle keeps pumping to the upside, we should touch $47,000, $48,000 today if we can claim and flip that level. If not, we could see some sideways action, but we also see some indecision right now with this Darth Maul candle here, that red one. If that candle starts to turn around to the downside, the immediate target here would be around $44,500, because we have some wicks here that tells me that here was prior resistance and could be a potential bounce level. So if the trade that I'm in right now is not working out, I'm gonna relong from that level here. On the liquidations, on a liquidation heat map, we see we cleared now a lot of the short liquidations that I was speaking about. There's still a lot to go to the upside. I still see here some short positions on low leverage getting stacked right now here around 50,000, 49, 48,000. I still believe that we're gonna clear here $47,000 just to get it all out of the way before we come back down and start taking downside liquidity to liquidate everybody that went long. The latest here around $43,000. Also here we broke out of that symmetrical, ascending triangle, sorry guys, to the upside. Here we have a way higher target because it's a higher time frame. Here we have a target of $47,646 right now. So we see here that the RSI is a little bit overheated right now. Our bullish divergence has played out. So here was our bullish divergence, which is amazing. And now we basically have to see what the price is doing here in the near term. So because the RSI X is overextended here and forming here slightly bearish divergence already, we should be a little bit cautious, but that doesn't mean that we cannot continue to pump here to the upside. So we could see something like this here, where we see a small dip back down and then continue to go here higher. So that dip down would just bring us roughly to $45,000, which would be absolutely fine for me. I just want to look here at some other indicators. Let's see what stochastic says. Yeah, stochastic is also overextended, but that's just due to this insane pump here. This can still flatline a little bit here in these regions of the stochastic RSI. So for now, I'm not really concerned about this. When we're looking here at the liquidation heat map, on this one here, we see that a lot of liquidations are still around $46,000 here. There is $150 million still that we can take out. And again, if we're above 46, we're gonna pump higher and take out all the rest also here. So there's maybe in total, if I had to guess, I would say around $200 million all the way up to like $48,000 that we can take out. And I would not be surprised if we see another massive candle pushing to the upside. Here on the 12-hourly chart, also here the bullish divergence has finally played out, and we broke $43,000, which led to this pump to above $44,000. For the time being, we got stopped now on the prior support line of that rising wedge, which is acting now as resistance. And remember guys, I told you that this might be happening, that we see something like this when we get there, and that we have to reevaluate the situation once we are getting there. So in the worst case, and not the worst case, that's not the worst case, it is I would say the mild case, is that we hover around here with this 12-hourly candle where we are at right now, between the bottom and the top of it, and the next one continues to pump here higher, breaks back into that rising wedge to the $48,000 target, potentially all the way up to $51,400. But there definitely I expect a massive, insane reaction and rejection back to the downside if we get there. So for the time being, we should watch this a little bit closely, what's happening here. Like I said, if we break here above $46,000, we are back in a rising wedge, and we're definitely going to continue this uptrend for Bitcoin. Here on the daily chart, I want to change something because we broke out way too prematurely on this right-angled broadening wedge. This is also an ascending triangle. Also here, we broke out prematurely from it. Hence why I'm not trusting that pump too much, because it is on the verge of being too early. So here in that kind of region is the perfect moment to break out, and we got it just to squeeze into that region here, that breakout. So if the next daily candle is not continuing to the upside, or the day after that, we should be prepared to see us rolling over and coming back and breaking to the downside. Now, with the ETF approval coming up in the next couple of days, this might be just a quick fake out, or it's not happening at all. So for that, I would like to see what's happening with today's daily candle, how we are closing it, that we're not retracing that whole move back into that ascending triangle. And for that, I would like to see Bitcoin closing above $44,800 today, just above the prior high that we had here, with a candle close. If we get that, we should be fine and should move here into higher price ranges. Also here on this daily chart with the Bollinger Bands. So I told you guys we had here, we had here a potential squeeze going on from like here to where we are broke out now. So we are above the Bollinger Band. The Bitcoin price action is never staying a long time outside the Bollinger Band, so it normally comes back in, but that could be happening tomorrow or even after tomorrow, after we saw a Bitcoin breaking here into these bigger resistance levels above us. We also broke here this W pattern, which is bullish for the time being, with a target of $47,800. And that is actually where I'm gonna take profit on that Bitcoin trade that I have personally running right now on 100x leverage that I showed you in the beginning of this video. Here on the weekly chart, this looks effing amazing to me. We are just starting the week, so here we have to wait until the end of the week how we are looking then. But I can definitely imagine that now that we broke here above $43,573, that we're gonna see Bitcoin attempting to at least touch here the next level of resistance at $47,263, all the way up to the Fibonacci level here, the 0.618 of $48,645. Now, when we're going into the USDT dominance, we see here a massive drop. That's what I like to see here on the USDT dominance. And the 4.73% level is still the target. And I believe that we are going to get close to it, or actually going to hit this if Bitcoin decides to pump to $48,000. The Bitcoin dominance is as expected, rising with the Bitcoin price. That's also something that I pointed out over the last couple of days, so I'm not really surprised about that. If we keep pumping into higher prices here for Bitcoin, I still believe that we're going to pump back to 53% and from there roll over. And then once again, if we then break again under 52% here, that level, that is when the real altcoin season will be cemented in the chart. The total market cap is already an altcoin season right now, because we broke finally above that resistance here of $1.63 trillion. We are here at 1.7 trillion already. Now we have to speak about potential higher targets for the total market cap. And the next one for me is around $1.79 trillion. That could coincide with the Bitcoin top in the short term if we reach this. And again, then we get the correction. This should then act as support, and we should get a bounce from there, and altcoins then start running insanely high. I only gonna touch briefly here on Ethereum. Tomorrow I'm gonna talk a lot of about altcoins when I see if Bitcoin could close the daily candle above $45,000. So here we are now around $2,400. We got also here a rejection from $2,434. I'm not really surprised, but I still expect Ethereum to keep pumping here and taking out that high. We got close to it, but did not pump higher than $2,452. So I expect that Ethereum could potentially pump today to 2,500, potentially even get here into the Fibonacci extension, the 1.618, the 1.65 of $2,587, $2,596, and potentially spike slightly above that, just that we get our $2,600 target. Here, I hope that a lot of guys got in that right angle broadening wedge here that I gave you yesterday. So if you would have gotten in there, you would be here now in massive profits already. 3.5% more or less. If you put it 10x leverage on that, almost 35%. Still in profit, and you see we are also seeing here continuation most likely happening for Ethereum. I just want to have a quick look at the EMA ribbon here. If we're also moving away from it. Yeah, so here also we are heavily moving away from it. Here also a retest is highly likely. If Ethereum keeps going for, let's say, another 2 days here to the upside, something like this, the EMA ribbon will slightly catch up. And then a retest should be around $2,400. And there I will actually buy a lot more Ethereum, because once Bitcoin is done, Ethereum, in my opinion, will have a massive run to the upside, potentially to $3,000. Also here you see why we got the rejection. There was resistance at $2,427. We wicked through that and came here then back to $2,400. But I believe if we're gonna see here another run into that level, that we're gonna break it and continue to go higher from here. The only thing that speaks against that for the time being is the stochastic RSI being heavily overbought here. Let's see if the 1 hourly corrected. Yeah, the 1 hourly corrected here completely already. And that tells me that Ethereum on the 4 hourly can flatline here for quite a while before we see this coming down. And hence that means that Ethereum can here move still way higher before we see here any massive correction to the downside, as long as Bitcoin is playing along. So now, of course, the Ethereum against Bitcoin chart is not looking that good because Bitcoin is pumping, and that's why we see here Ethereum now correcting back to the downside. But once Bitcoin is done, I definitely see Ethereum breaking this massive downwards trend line, this multi-month trend line that we have, that's acting as resistance, and breaking here at least into 0.088 Bitcoin for 1 Ethereum. And that would give us a 67.5% run for Ethereum against Bitcoin. And there I will actually then also convert back a little bit. Guys, that's it already for today's episode. It was a quick update. I hope you are as hyped up as me right now. Let's see where my position is. I got a little bit more Ethereum. Bitcoin is still more or less where it was at the beginning. Yeah, enjoy the day, enjoy the profits. Don't forget to set some stop losses that you take some profits off the table. Yeah, and I'm gonna see you then again tomorrow. Don't forget, smash up the like button, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, and bye bye.